We're here to deal with two regulations, the first dealing with payment systems, the second dealing with overdraft protection. And in both cases, I came here for the entertainment value, to watch Republican after Republican tell us how much they don't trust the Trump administration. It's as if Trump doesn't control the CFPB. The regulation we're considering now is just a regulation that says this is an area we're going to look at. And they're afraid the Trump administration will look at it. It doesn't do anything except begin a process. Why are we as to both of these CRAs? The effect is not only to erase what was done under the Biden administration, but prohibit the new administration from adopting any consumer protection. Why? Because they want zero consumer protection, and they want the Trump administration to have an excuse. And the excuse is Congress passed the CRA, we're prohibited from writing a regulation in that area. So the Republican administration could rewrite these rules. Congress could overwrite these rules. Instead, we're erasing the rules and prohibiting other rules from being there. Then I spent this morning being told that we need to have cryptocurrency because it's going to be this great payment system. And for some reason, the payment systems that use U.S. dollars aren't good. And now I'm here on the floor being told that Venmo and its competitors are so wonderful that there should be absolutely no regulation. So on the one hand, we have to create a new currency for drug dealers, and on the other hand, the current system using the U.S. dollar shouldn't even be regulated because it's perfect. So why do we need to regulate here? First, to prevent excessive fees. Second, to prevent deception. But third, and this one's obvious, to prevent the loss of consumer money. Venmo is holding $7 billion of consumers' money. Now, if you have a tiny bank, a tenth, a hundredth the size of Venmo, you have to make sure that you have reserves. You can't take the money to the horse races. But Venmo, they can do anything with the money, and if they lose the $7 billion, well, you're a consumer, you're out of luck. And Trump can say it wasn't my fault because Congress prohibited us from having prudential regulations. If an entity is in the transactions business is going to hold $7 billion of consumer money, shouldn't we at least make sure that the money is still there? And shouldn't we make sure that they don't engage in Botswana currency swaps and other, or with the highest risk transactions they can find to perhaps make a lot of money or lose all the consumers' money? Heads I win, tails the consumers lose. Let me take a minute or two to talk about the other regulation, because after you vote for against the first of these resolutions, you're going to feel so good that you're going to want to vote against the second one. This is the one that limits overdraft protection, overdraft fees to $5 for the big banks, the 175 biggest banks, or they can charge you what their actual cost is if it's more than $5. It requires disclosure of what these overdraft costs, fees are going to be. It will save American consumers $6.1 billion every year. So, if we're concerned about inflation, why shouldn't we tell the banks that overdraft is not a profit center? They recover their costs, maybe a little bit more, but you don't make the consumer turn to the consumer and say, you were so dumb you overdrafted, so we're going to hit you with a wild fee. I'll ask for another minute.
Another 30 seconds, please.
Gentleman's recognized for an additional 30 seconds.
So, do not vote to prohibit regulation of payment systems. Do not vote to prohibit limitations on overdraft protection. Do not vote to allow $6.1 billion to be transferred from your constituents to the biggest banks in the country. Vote no, and then vote no again.